other states that you see as problematic?
You see in the south, I mean, you see ranging from Negeri Sembilan, Melaka and Johor, more so Melaka and Johor. Johor, because we have huge, I mean, real difficulty in getting across. Not that the people don't come. If there may more, it's 4,000 people. It's a huge crowd for more, but that's an exception. We can get a place, near the town and where people can converge. Like we do in Ledang, it's just comfortable crowd, but it's just so difficult to get there. Yeah, so that happens to be our problem, but we have to work a bit harder. But are we there? Are we better off as compared to 2008? Certainly so. I mean, it's not just Kandila. I think DAP networking in Johor, in the urban areas, much better now. PAS have been able to penetrate a few new areas. And I think the Kandila missionary after Juming took over has managed, to really beef up both the resources and the missionary. Certainly far better than 2008. Then we have Sabah and Sarawak. Sarawak, admitted, you have this belt of the Chinese majority, and then penetration to 3 or 4 pockets of the indigenous Dayak groups. Can we have the majority of the seats? No. Okay, realistically, we don't. What we need is 30-40% of the seats. Sabah is a different scenario.
You said Melaka and Johor, that you're in better position in 2008. Does it mean that you'll take the states?
No, I'm not sure. It's Johor. It will take off a lot of more effort. Yeah, but Melaka, we should gain substantially. Negeri Sembilan, I think it's much easier. Now the mood is very good.
You think that can take the state of Negeri Sembilan?
Yes. But whatever they may say, because the whole target of the Perkasa UMNO types is to attack and abuse Kuan A.
That's right.
It does not work. I go down to Penang a lot, the Malay, and unlike the other place where I go there as a national leader, and I go to Penang, like, MPJC, I go sit down di situ, pergi ke masjid, and tak ada. I mean, a lot of, he has been quite successful in that, because I've been working from the days. I know my father was about Pauni, but with Chong Yu, Sukun. I mean, of course, with Sukun very close. But Guan Eng went out of his way. Kalau buka puasa ke pergi masjid, he buka surau. I mean, he just goes there. I mean, with the least of protocol. And the program yang Melayu ke apa, I mean, he attends. And I think to be fair, I mean, the Malays also view this. I mean, they know he's Chinese, they know he's DAP. I'm not suggesting they agree with everything that he says of DAP policies, but they consider him as a good, credible leader for Penang.
So Penang is more or less solid?
Yeah, solid, and which means we can gain more seats. That's my point. Kelantan, well, I'm going today, but there are some concerns about, which I think the state government is trying to address now. It has to be done now. Water issue, on the issue of land problem in some of these constituencies. I hope to just ask Togo Niazis for advice and how that can be resolved faster.
There is this talk about the fact that Kelantan is a problem with incumbency.
Yeah.
You've been there for too long. So do you see that there is a possibility of people saying, okay, it's time for us to change?
Not really, because Togo ni Aziz ni ada certain flair about him, because they say, okay, he's old, he's been there for some time, but he's clean, doesn't cheat us, and in a society and a political system that you have too many scoundrels squandering public wealth. So I think he has that sort of. Although they say, well, he's getting old, he should be planning. So the theme that he presents is important. I mean, I will share with him some views in private today, because they would like to see this, the team. They'll be backing him. He's presented to the people during the elections. must be seen to be credible and prepared to assist him in a more effective manner.
So maybe there's a successor that you can work with in Kelantan, as a future MP?
I don't have a problem with that. Why should I have a problem?
So basically, the idea is to
The important thing was that the successor is credible and acceptable to the Kelantan people. That's important. I don't know. I'm certain I'll discuss with him this.
If the people are thinking that maybe the Aziz should not go on anymore, well,
I don't know whether that sentiment is strong. I mean, I've heard about it, but because they'd say that we need him at least to make sure that issue of integrity of good governance is there.
Yeah, it's clean, it's fine.
But we need a stronger team to back him up. That's important.
So basically, what he will remain, but then you push forward the
Yeah,
lines.
yeah. Which he's doing now, but then people, I don't know how far they are doing in terms of water issue, because water issue is quite a real issue. I mean, I would consider, I don't think we can dismiss that readily, although there are problems in all the other states. But they can handle this fast. Some land issues, I think it should be okay. Kedah among the Malays and the rural Malays is still far better. But there's some concerns among the Chinese over some pronouncements. Now later the liquor area apa semua. I discovered with Ustaz Hadi, and both of us will continue to communicate with Ustaz Azizan. Ustaz Azizan is willing to, the first reaction, okay, we'll be back at status quo and just look at it. He wants it to be well regulated. The problem of like sales here at that time, Hassan Ali. Okay, the point that I would concede is okay. If it is a Malay or Muslim village, 80%, we don't need to have a Kedayara. Okay? But if it is just very mixed, a majority non-Malays, we shouldn't create a problem because who would allow that? If you say, okay, you put a label, clear label, Muslims should not buy, or under 18 should not. To me, it's acceptable. But don't create a situation where you impose new rules, particularly affecting non-Muslims. But other than these issues, I think we can still manage. Penang, we are better. Perak certainly much better than 2008.
Sarawak, you think you can regain?
Perak?
Perak.
Yes. I mean, all studies, all surveys indicate that we can.
Let's go back to Kedah. Why do you think these issues keep recurring? Issues which seem to grate the Chinese community?
Past the majority situ, jadi concern soal gambling, soal liquor, it will crop up, from time to time. I don't believe that we can just dismiss that as it were. So I think we must provide the forum, for the Muslims and particularly the Chinese and Indian community to sit down and see and reason out, and as I said, it does not mean that we just maintain the status quo. But if there have been ample reasons why liquor should not be sold in certain locality for good reasons, I think they have to concede. I mean, these things can be done.
Is it that the past government there is taking a more hardline approach to these things and should?
It's also concern expressed sometimes from the from the grassroots. But I think of course we have to listen to them. But some we have explained to them because it's not healthy to derail the process. Selangor. You see, Selangor is interesting because I interact both with the masses and the business community. There are a lot of reservations, a lot of criticism, and particularly those who have got deals in the past, and then they're stuck. Khalid seems to be adamant to say, look, the agreement in the past must be corrected, and therefore you have this, inordinate delay as a process. He has a case too, although I look at it as my advice, what to do with businessmen, they work with everybody. Tapi dia kata if there is clear evidence of hanky-panky, they paid to the former administration millions. I want this to be corrected. He has a point there, in that sense, more principled. I want it done. Okay? So I think he has, just adjusting between the two. But he has a point. That's why I didn't push it beyond that. Particularly if there are cases where millions have been disbursed, paid. Agreements was lopsided. Taking land just like that. I mean, huge problem. I thought I knew when I was finance minister what happened, but it's far worse. It's not just a political statement. I mean, it's nasty in terms of what happened. Looking at the files, and particularly in Selangor, not as bad. I was discussing with Guan A. Bad enough in Penang, but certainly nothing close to the excesses by the Malay leadership. China Coco ni adalah sikit, dia concede pada UMNO punya demands. Di sini just excessive. So Khalid punya point itu, that has been major stumbling block, because dia punya strong prejudice and not wanting to go through with the same set of rules. But having said that, when it comes to work on the ground, Steve, you can't fault him. I mean, it's not easy to persuade him to to get some of the programs on the ground, because he has been a very much of a corporate player, to say this kita kata kepedulian terhadap rakyat on the, but what he agreed, and that's it. I remember microcredit. I proposed to him. I said, do it fast, 5 million and then plus 5. This man, once he's convinced, he said, okay, 50, and then 20, 70. Because we can afford it. Whereas if he was initially very reluctant, he thought, this is something messy, working on the ground. But I said to the people, it counts. Those who have money can go to the banks. But the rest, minta 5,000, 10,000 ringgit, we must have the strong backup. So I think having said that, which means on the ground, it's very difficult for UMNO to penetrate.
It means like Ibrahim will stay as MP next time.
Well, it depends. He has his. I think the view is some feels that he should continue to stay. Some, including feels that if we do take Putrajaya, I would need his experience, expertise for the building up and correcting the major national institutions.
Pahang, my home state. You were in you were in Bentong, right?
Yeah, well, Bentong.
Right, that's right.
And then I was in Dipis.
That's right.
Yeah, from Penang tomorrow the day after I'm going to Kuantan, so on the way to Terengganu. Regain state atau tidak to something that we have to look at in greater depth. But whether we should, we can gain more seats, I'm quite confident. I'm quite confident we can gain more seats. UMNO has huge problems too, not to explain. And you talk about country's deficit, it doesn't. Yeah, just everywhere. You talk about the lembu condo, it really affects. You talk about duit zakat, you talk about orang lain curi shampoo kena 2 tahun, toyo. These things, don't underestimate, I believe. But you have to figure this, corruption, commission, leaders are all the same. They always have that permissive sort of view, which is contrary to the Islamic spirit, They must call for reform to change for the better, but there's a resign the fact, it's going to be the same. When we come to issues which affect them directly, I can see people just very enraged. It's interesting, this issue of lembu, really. You mentioned deficit 1 trillion. Okay.
Or financial outflow.
Outflow. Oh yeah, financial outflow. 1 trillion.
These results are regardless of whether the verdict of January 9, how the state's affairs, regardless of
You see, public perception, kalau kata Anwar guilty lah. Yang kata tak salah. What the judge is going to say, suppose the judge is going to say, it's no bearing whatsoever to the public perception, except for probably a small minority.
And you're confident that you're going to win?
Very confident again.
Very confident.
And with me in jail, and I think to be a few percentage point extra, which means we're getting better majority. even without me in jail, we will win, but probably less than majority. No, I mean, you know, Steve. Steve.
Incorrigible.
No, yeah, but here, unlike here, I've been working, and listening, talking to people, and looking at the figures and talking to even those guys. You know, in 2008, in my, say, for example, discussion with some of the establishment guys, the most serious guys know that we will be making major inroads. But now, I tell you, not many of them that confident. It's serious. I mean, the state leader in Negeri Sembilan say he will fall. In Sabah, many of them in the state are confident that they will take over the state. I have not said so. I would say that we would win a substantial number of seats. They say to the contrary that they will gain under this new coalition. So it's not an unrealistic proposition. You go to, for example, Pahang, the other groups, you know, some of our civil society groups, the upbeat types, going to some of these remote areas, particularly Pays and Yamno guys, who talk about, you know, tak boleh kena tukar. Last night, it's interesting, because Nur Izzah was with me, my son came, and budak tu pegang tangan kejap. Datuk, saya daripada pemuda UMNO. So, dia cakap, no, tapi sumpah saya sokong Datuk. I mean, this is, you know, I mean, kalau by right, I would have said, pemuda UMNO pasal lagi, sudahlah, you know, I could say, but then he said, okay, terima kasih. But this is happening, and very emotional.